Sure, I have a higher paying salary that could sustain this home, but my savings still feels like it's a little constrained compared to when I was renting. Hi, everybody. 2023. It's a new year. We'll see what happens if I can keep making videos. The idea is that I would make more videos because there's various topics I really want to cover. This video is going to be talking about home ownership. Regrets? Maybe, maybe not. Just to get to the point, I do regret getting this home in retrospect, but the lesson learned from it is what I'm trying to convey to everyone else who's thinking about getting a home or is in a home ownership, early home ownership position, and is actually trying to generate some revenue to create a better lifestyle or more options for oneself. Some background: I got this home early last year, late May, June, around there, 2022, with recommendation from my dad, who used to be a loan officer, so he was very easily able to help me get this home smoothly. He taught me a number of things about home ownership, how to get it, because we've owned multiple homes in the past, but I never really got into understanding how it worked. With all that said and done, the idea of me being a homeowner is really to help boost my credit, which is fine. I think that's a great idea. But the caveat to that is, from all that I've learned over the last 10 years, is that owning a home may sound great. You're participating in the cultural norm of the American dream, where owning a home, having kids, fence, pets, sounds great. You've pretty much hit the end game at that point. Do what you will. But society has evolved so much, so fast, thanks to technology, social media, etc. And the evolution of society cannot sustain that approach, especially with the way the market is operating, with regards to home ownership and stuff, and just investors buying up homes. I want to relay why buying up property and renting it out has become the norm. And it's from this mentality that a number of entrepreneurs have shared. It is a mistake to buy a home and assume that it automatically becomes an asset. An asset meaning that it has value that it's going to generate for you, and not a liability, meaning that all it's going to do is be a money sink, where your money just keeps going into it and nothing comes back. Buying your first real estate property and living in it, it's as your personal, it's automatic a liability, because all you're really doing is constantly throwing money in there, unless of course you have roommates or stuff or something, right? The ideal is to buy your first real estate property and rent it out. Ideally, a duplex or a quadplex, as per recommendation from Robert Krook, who is a entrepreneur. So you can understand why there have been so many investors just buying up random property, either reselling it or mostly renting it out. It's because they're trying to generate revenue from the rent and just gain money also off of capital appreciation. Robert Kiyosaki, famous for Rich Dad, Poor Dad, endorses this approach. Unless you are turning your property into a money generating cash flow, like that, unless that cash flow actually exists, then that thing is a liability. For example, you can imagine a vehicle is, when you buy it, is a liability unless you're generating money off of it over or beyond the maintenance value or the payment value of that car per month. So when you see things in that financial breakdown, I started to realize that even though I'm living here, I'm not really generating money beyond what I'm paying into it. Like it's just the entire lifestyle, the paradigm doesn't match up. So assuming you agree with my position, or you could respond in the comments and we can explore the thought even further. Assuming you agree with me, what do you do when you're in my position, where you're doubting your home ownership position, whether you're early or several years into it, whatever the case is? What are your options? So far, what I've understood is that we have to imagine that this discrepancy, this disconnect, this fact that this cash flow doesn't exist, we have to assume that that's on the aside. What do we do now in order to create more financial freedom, more financial space for you to feel like you can do more things? Because that's the challenge I have. It's like, now that I have this home, sure, I have a higher paying salary that could sustain this home, but my savings still feels like it's a little constrained compared to when I was renting. So what are my options now? Some ideas that I understood is, well, I could go for a higher paying job. I even talked about this with my my director at my work. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just find another thing, But the problem is, like, if you're already good with your company, if you're good with your income, you shouldn't be pressured into thinking that you just need to go into a new job that pays more, that could end up being a really bad, horrible work environment, just because you want to sustain this. You want to put yourself in a position where you don't have to make decisions that lead to your own unhappiness. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't consider that, but you have to at least know the risk. And if we're going to look at risk mitigation, we have to look at the behavioral risks that occur when you make certain decisions and live with those consequences. And so, is it a higher paying job that you should look for? Just be aware of the consequences. Another idea is, well, if I can accumulate anything, should I throw it into savings or should I throw it into investments? For safety, I would throw it into investments, or sorry, for safety, I'd throw it into savings and only go into investments if the market is clear and clean. What I'm saying is, invest only if it has a brick or mortar component to it. Like if there is an established HQ, if there's a company, because if it's just a startup team, or if you're investing into crypto, there's a lot of risk there, because let's go into the fact that crypto doesn't have a strong culture of securities, or it doesn't have a strong culture of anything backing it. There can be instances where something is backing a cryptocurrency, but there's not enough to make it a constant thing. That's one thing. If you want to invest in ETFs, stocks, etc., that's okay, but I don't know if you're going to really generate enough to make a difference with your lifestyle consequence that you have going. And ultimately, something to think about, especially when such a big decision like homeownership affects your entire life and all the decisions you make. And I want to leave you with that. Leave it in the comments below what your thoughts are on this topic, what you've learned in your own journey in life, whether you're a homeowner or not, and hopefully we can share these notions, ideas with each other, and further, ensure that future generations or other people will make better decisions in the future. For now, I'm going to live here several years. The lesson I've learned here is something that I'm conveying to you, and I'll live with it, but at the same time it is pressuring me to look at greater financial growth and impact in the future. We'll go further into that sort of option development or self-development in another video. For now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.